almost 50% of operators seeing daily last minute changes and guest related issues. And so what that does is, as you can imagine, right? If 50% of the time something is changing at the last minute, that's putting an enormous amount of pressure on your operations and on the baseline standard that you set up for your operation.
There's at least two very pivotal moments in most property managers' history. One of them is related to the number of properties, and this differs by property manager. But somewhere along, when you get to 10 properties, suddenly you don't you don't know where everything is. If someone messages you and asks, "Where's the remote to the TV?" you don't know it by instinct anymore. Maybe for some it's 20 properties, others 50, but there just comes a point when you don't know the answer to those questions. So the other pivotal, and that's a moment when you need to think about how you're running your operations because you can't continue. The other pivotal moment comes when your team is growing, when you got enough cleaners, when you got other people answering those questions. Do they know the answer? And suddenly the system that you had set up to know the answer to every question for even up to 100 properties, other people can't use that system unless you train them. And this is what we see a reflection of here on the screen when you run into challenges. It's not that these challenges, you can't overcome them. The problem is that you've grown and had these pivotal moments, one related to number of properties and the other one related to number of staff. That's why you're having these problems.
I think that's exactly right. We do see that those are two areas where your operation, those are two moments where your operation will be continue to be strained. But what's really interesting is like even when you're really small, maybe you do have a couple of folks that you rely on, you feel like you still got intimate knowledge about your property. What ends up happening is if you're really that small, you're probably also doing something else, right? And this isn't something that's keeping you busy full time. And it's just really hard to keep track of that. And that one little last minute change has a cascading effect on the rest of the work that needs to be done.